Good morning. I'm here getting ready to head out for my day. And as you can see on my face, I've already applied my castor oil. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of down to my last few drops, so I have went ahead and added an oil that I approve of to my Amazon wish list if anyone would like to hold the space and pay it forward so that I can continue treating myself with that oil. That's an option, or if it's already been purchased, there's other things on my wish list if you wish to do something nice for me. Now, I'd like to do this little video mainly just saying thank you to those of you who have been thinking of me, especially those of you who did this on my birthday. I thought this was really funny. There's only 2 people who have my address and sent me something for my birthday, something that wasn't on my Amazon wish. And what I thought was really funny is both of them purchased me the exact same thing, which is so ironic. So I kind of wanted to show that. So second actually, I got this one from DJ Kitty Scratch before her boyfriend started attacking me and threatening to kill me. So that was nice of her to send this. She also sent, there's like 4 cords here. And I'm gonna break these up, leave one in my car, leave one in this bag, that bag, and then Greg, also known as Wrestling Divas, he totally hooked me up with this one. So far, this one is actually my favorite. I also purchased the GoPro one a long time ago. These are all external battery packs. And then this was kind of like my first one that I ever had. And I actually have another one that I received from a submissive a long time ago that he was given to freely from his work. And I have no clue where that one is. I'm actually really bad about using those things, and honestly, yeah, my phone is about to die now, and I kind of been setting aside that supplies because I wanted to say thank you for the happy birthday wishes. And for any of you that are actually local and around Florida, I wanted to let you know that I'll be doing a public appearance on Saturday. I wish I had a calendar so I could tell you the exact date. It's not really coming to mind. I want to say the 16th. And then, because I believe 17th is St. Patty's Day. So on the 16th, I will be at the Florida Renaissance Festival from 10 a.m. to 3. I have a photo shoot after that, so I do have to scurry out of there immediately after. I'm thinking about bringing a mermaid tail, kind of waffling a little bit about that. I'm not really sure. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a birthday celebration, I didn't really get to celebrate my birthday with my friends and things like that. And as I prepare for my transition, I'm kind of holding space for people to come together with me. Anybody that actually, is kind of watching my YouTube and know what's going on in my life. There's very few people that I actually connect to on private basis. My time is very sacred, and I'm very dedicated. I keep myself extremely busy, dedicated to my practices. I apologize if you're dealing with any visual issues right now. There's actually a crack across my screen for my camera, so I'm waiting for those protection cases to kind of arrive so that I can fix that. It's been kind of hard to produce any front camera stuff. My friend Jeremy brought this to me as a gift. This is actually someone else's sign, and it was actually a woman who was continuing to do readings out front of the museum even after they had closed. And I was like, oh, Jeremy, because he took this lady's sign, and I gotta make sure I give this back to her at some point. However, I like the art, I understand he brought it to me as a gift. Maybe if she's cool with me keeping it, I'll keep it. I could text her. Her name's Sherry. I like her lettering a lot, and I like how she did these things. I hope to be buying some paint, so if you'd like to send tribute, I would totally love to use some money right now towards paint, but I feel guilty because it's not a necessity, but it is kind of therapeutic for me to paint. I didn't paint this kind of came with the house. I definitely want to pick up some more canvases. Some materials I can only get in person, and honestly, you get way better financial deals doing it that way. And since it's kind of part of my business, me selling and making art, I can totally count it as a tax deduction and use that as materials for my office. One of you, I believe it was DJ Kitty Scratch, I believe she gifted me a whole kit of paint. And honestly, I've kind of burned through that, especially through some of my favorite colors, like the blue. There's one shade of blue that I just absolutely love. It's been amazing. I'm kind of in this mad, uncomfortable process. my AC broke during the winter, and now we're entering the summer months, so things are kind of like a little bit right now, you know, but all the better for me to get outside the house on days like this. I could easily open the windows and stuff like that, but I've kind of already planned my agenda for today. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of taking care of taxes. I know a lot of you may consider me to be an anarchist and against the Federal Reserve, but I still participate and do this, even if it is against the Constitution, like many of you have told me and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to do the right thing, you know, and be smart as possible. Just, you know, protect myself energetically in every possible way. So I'm having real fun processing all of this stuff, you know, like most of all, there's math I have to do because I didn't do what I'm supposed to be doing now. Let's say that. What I should be doing is going through my statements every single month and keeping track of what's income and what's not and what's deductions and then what's just for fun, what meals are for business, all that good stuff. And then taking care of it quarterly. It's been such a process learning this stuff the hard way. I also am in great desire of opening up my own business, like an LLC. But some people charge you to open up an LLC. You know what I mean? Like, it's like $30 online or something like that. And then if you go to like someone who does it for you and creates the LLC for you, like it's like $120 or something like that. And honestly, sometimes it seems like it might be worth it to just pay that money to the accountant or whatever to create an LLC. But at the same time, I'm just like, maybe there's a YouTube video for how to open up a Sunbiz. But also, since I'm moving states, I'm wondering if I should maybe just get a business license somewhere else, if I should hold off, or I don't know what I'm doing. I'm kind of like in this process. I'm looking for properties. I'm looking to rent like maybe like a 3-bedroom or something like that. Maybe even 2-bedroom. You know, I mean, I don't really know. I'm kind of like in this waffly state in this process as I'm developing myself and essentially the bliss of my being. I have an appointment today at 2 o'clock. I'm not certain if this person is reliable and going to follow through, but we shall see what happens. Also, something that I learned in my process of healing, I would say had the honor of going to an AA meeting, and I've learned the steps. Even though I'm not an alcoholic and I'm not like a drinker, it was still really, really nice to kind of learn this information. And one of the processes is actually apologizing to all the people that you've ever wronged. So this morning I actually sent out a message to my ex-girlfriend, and I was like, hey, I'm preparing to move. I mentioned like I'm missing some books and some crystals that you gave me, you know, if by any chance you have them, I'd love to receive my stuff back. You know, I apologize that, like, to be honest, to be completely honest, I apologize for even dating her, because through the entire time of dating her, I told her how I love Zach and how, you know, all these issues or whatever, and still I proceeded ahead. And then, like, I apologized today, and she, like, wrote me back saying, I don't have anything of yours, first of all, and I never loved you, I just wanted to smash. So I was like, okay, thank you. You know, what can I say to that? So I'm just, like, not allowing that to, like, ruin my day like she tried to do. And, like, what can I do? All I can do is be a good man and say my apologies and state my wrongs and ask that you forgive me. And if you don't want to forgive me, that's on you. You know, and a lot of times we think that we have forgiven people and we've moved on, but really we hold all these grudges. And, like, this is kind of reminding me of, like, kind of what I'm going through with my submissive girl who, yeah, her boyfriend, like, apparently I had a submissive who had a boyfriend, and she didn't tell me she had a boyfriend. And I guess they were together for 7 years, and he discovered me, and she was sending me, like, all these romantic poetry and stuff like that, you know, like, I guess you can say this BDSM relationship got out of hand because she became a friend, she became a client, you know, like, with energy work, and then she also was a submissive. So all of this stuff was creating, like, super dynamic issues, I guess, because I didn't separate business from pleasure. And then I believe she started falling in love with me, or so I thought then, or maybe she thinks that she loved me, you know what I mean? Like, she thought that she wanted to be with me. She thought that all these things, you know. So she wrote like really, really, really deep poetic stuff. And like part of me, of course, I loved that. I love romantic nature, and it was nice to be receiving those things when I hadn't received them, you know. And for me, it was so shocking to get it from a girl. I was like, who'd have thought a girl could be like the best boyfriend ever type thing, you know, like, and just like, it was like being a boyfriend without being a boyfriend, you know. We didn't make love, we didn't hold hands and stuff like that. I mean, we've totally, I'm like, I could be like, we did hold hands like once, you know, like walking, but not like what you think, you know, like not like la 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 la, like it's hard to explain. But like the principle is that I feel like I shouldn't have to explain myself. But what's really irritating is that her boyfriend is like an ex-drug addict and going a little bit psycho, thinking that I slept with her, you know, and I didn't. And then he started sending me death threats, like literally threatening to kill me and threatening that if I come out into that area that like I won't look the same, and so she's gonna basically bash my face in. And then he also simultaneously sent a message to Wolf's Museum of Mystery, which Allie texted me asking me if I knew who this guy Chris was, and copied his message of what he was saying to them. So that's been really, really fun. You know, I had, unfortunately, my personal choice was to completely cut off her, and it's sad for me because I felt like she really, like, was someone that I could trust, and I gave her, like, a lot of personal information about myself, like, exactly like she knew about herpes before anybody else did, and she told him, or, like, he went through her phone, or, like, she didn't protect me, so it made me feel like she didn't really care about me, you know? And, like, the fact that she's willing to, like, let me go now and doesn't care, like, I feel like that says infinite things. It makes me feel like we were never friends. She was never really a loyal submissive. And she's just, like, in this process of discovering herself. And I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally willing to hold space and love for all those things. But as soon as, like, you know, you're threatening my life and then you're surrounding yourself with toxic, horrible people who are then attacking me, like, I cannot surround myself by that. Like, I just won't have that. So, like, I had this funny conversation with someone who kind of helped me, you know, figure things out. And their words were, give him exactly what he wants. Let him have her. You know what I mean? And part of me is, like, fine, you know, the ego's like, no, don't let him have her. She's bad news, or, like, he's bad news bears. He's gonna hurt her. He's gonna kill her. He's threatening to kill you. And then another part of me is saying that I should let it go. I mean, I have like two different storylines going on inside. Like, part of me is very sad to be like losing someone who I thought was so secure in my life, someone who was super motivational, someone who was super loving, and then to come around to like be getting messy about like love life and stuff and boundaries getting confused. So I can only kind of, in some levels, blame myself because I need to take responsibility for my actions. Because I guess you can say, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have allowed her to profess her love to me. But I assumed because we were in this BDSM type relationship that it was totally okay. I'm very selective who I do my BDSM dominatrix mistress or goddess, whatever, right? Like all of that stuff. Like, some people like to role play, and I don't mind role playing and holding that space and being tough on people or whatever they need. Like, for me, it can be really, really fun to assume the position and play around. However, everything I do is consensual, you know. I'm not a manipulative person. If someone wanted me to manipulate them, like, maybe I could play off of that, you know, and then especially because I'm really into psychology and stuff like that. But I'm also, like, very selective, you know. Like, there might be someone who's like, please ruin me, please destroy my life and blackmail me, blah, blah, blah. Like, there are certain things that I just won't do because it's totally against my personal moral compass. However, some things I will allow that most people won't do because everything for me is consensual, you know. Like, one of my favorite submissives, you know, the image that they have portrayed to me is that they come from a religious culture, okay? And basically, in that religious culture, there's all of these, like, conditions and things that happen, and he likes to basically be made fun of the fact that he is from that, you know, and he says how he wants me to be his Allah and things like that. And sometimes, Like there's all this gray area, you know, like in some levels I feel like there are different people who would, like, just like all the levels that we talked to in this video, you know, there are people who would totally, like, in some levels of something, like, how do I say this? Like, let's say I express myself in A, okay, and it's not really fully who I am, but I express myself in A or X or whatever variable you like to insert there, okay? And then you have people who will respond to our variable as, I'm gonna kill this person. I'm not happy with this response. I need to exterminate this and eliminate this because they can't handle it. You know what I mean? Or they don't understand it, so they want to tear it apart and destroy it. See, this also brings me back to like the R. Kelly and Michael Jackson stuff. I don't know if you guys know, but it's about 48 states that it's actually legal to marry children in, and I think that they're using like these two famous icons as like almost like a test in society penetration, you know what I mean? Like, you guys are attacking these people and saying that they deserve to be killed, but it's legal? And then, not just that, that's not so much, you know, just because things are legal doesn't mean that it's right. More so, I don't believe that we are supposed to kill the people who are torturing children. Like, what makes us any different? That's a child. The person that we want to kill would be a child. They're a child who grew up, who is traumatized, manipulated, conditioned, and they grew up and they're kind of stuck in all these psychological variables. Now, for a fact, we know that there are drugs, right? Like psychological neurochemistry that can be altered to manipulate situations. Now, I'm also not saying that we should necessarily, you know, give all pedophiles and addicts like LSD or Prozac or things like that, okay? That is not what I'm saying, so please don't put words in my mouth. I'm not really sure what the answer is, okay? I'll admit that. I will admit that. But what I do know on my personal path and my personal self is I do not believe the way to change the world is to kill, exterminate, ignore, and neglect. You know, so if you see some horrible stuff going on and you just walk past, you know, how does that help the next guy? You know what I mean? But I also don't think that we're supposed to like obsessively focus on our abusers and like make their life hell. You know what I mean? But I'm also not saying that like the abuser should get away. You know what I mean? I just recognize that all of the abusers have been abused. And therefore their condition and their nervous system, and yeah, some of them are wired pretty bad, like where they sincerely find joy and pain and they don't want to feel that way. So I also work with like a lot of people who are battling their demons and trying to transcend all this dark, negative, shadow work energy, you know? And like, the way that I explain it to you is for as bright of a light as you are, as positive, as amazing, as intelligent, you know? You have a shadow too, like where you do some really dumb stuff, or you hurt yourself, or like you hurt people around you. Like everybody has like their own little shadow. Things that are unseen, that they don't notice that they do, or things that are the dark side that comes with their great gifts. For example, one of mine would be like I'm extremely sensitive and psychic, right? Like I can feel energy very strongly. I'm very intuitive. But what's the shadow of that? You think it's very fun for me to be feeling your emotions when they're not mine? Sometimes that can get very confusing. Like I have to realign with myself and check in and be like, is this mine? And then not just that, but I've also noticed a personal thing is that I try to be everything to everybody. You see what I'm saying? So I need to learn my own personal boundaries of being able to tell people no, which is why I've kind of chosen to kind of create this as a form of income. You know, there's a lot of people that want my attention, want my guidance, want my thoughts and views and opinions on things. You know what I mean? So no offense, but I can't just like live my life constantly in servitude of answering everyone's questions and helping everyone on their process, you know, because I have to be dedicated to my process. So what I've done is I've created circumstances like where people can pay or have an hour with me or this or that. And, you know, that way I feel like there's an equal energetic exchange, like you're sincerely invested in getting better to the point where you're handing me money, where I have a reason why I should drop everything and focus on you. A lot of people don't recognize the benefit to personal attention. Like sometimes they want to act like I'm trying to figure out how to portray this message to you. Like basically what I deal with is like there are people who very clearly state like I want to talk to you. I want to be here. I want your attention. Or I want, like, you know, they want you to communicate. They want you to answer. They want you to be engaged with them. But then, you know, as soon as you mention money, they get upset and they're like, they suddenly completely, it's like cognitive dissonance. They completely shut down and don't understand why they should pay you. Yet at the same time, they can recognize that they get something out of you through your existence or your experiences with you, and still they don't have a heart that's truly invested in loving and caring and nurturing you and your cells and your being, you know? Like, unfortunately, we do live in a very three-dimensional world, in a materialistic world. So yeah, we need $5 to eat, right? Or like we need a couple $100 a month to pay the rent. And there's like a lot of selfish energy going on, and it's kind of frustrating that you're struggling to reflect on the opposite side of your actions. And I'll admit that even sometimes I battle with that, and it's a constant process of refining and growth and development. And now I'm happy I got all of that off my chest, and frankly I could keep going, and I'd love to go live and have some like ceremony and session with you where I can be available of service for free for short periods of time, and also connect with the community and anybody that's new that would like to step through and kind of, you know, create some type of energetic exchange. And you want to know something else that came to mind just now? You can pay me in forms of knowledge. Now, I'm not looking for everyone to like take advantage of that, you know what I mean, and manipulate me in any type of way. But yes, my soul is very hungry to learn. So if you know things about Nikola Tesla or Aldous Huxley, or especially Nikola Tesla. Like, I am so hungry for knowledge for Nikola Tesla right now. So if there's anybody that knows anything or like knows a lot about him, purchased his books, I would love to read writings written by him himself. I do plan on dedicating a day where I clean the house and dedicate my entire time to actually listening to well, I would call them like YouTube videos on like educational material on Nikola Tesla. I especially would like to hear about Alan Watts and his lysergic experience. And I mean, there's so much information that I'd love to study. And personally, yes, I do love using YouTube as just like something in the background with educational noise instead of listening to cursing music or things that I may have listened to in the past, which I still listen to occasionally, you know, especially to release like those charged up angry emotions. But for me, working out and being active and like in touch with my cells and be the bliss of my being, like fully doing what I really want to do at all times. And it hasn't been easy sometimes, you know, because sometimes we feel guilty like being ourselves, like because no one else is like us. So it can be very uncomfortable at times, like expressing ourselves in ways that like nobody else is really expressing themselves. It's just kind of how it is. I hear you guys. I hear you. I know you all are going through a lot. I know a lot of you are proud how far I come. I know a lot of you wish me to die, but I'm open to all of that, and I'm thankful for every moment between me and Divine Source Creator that I've actually held space to be here and to continue doing what I really love, while also simultaneously doing actions that are true to my nature, that I do my best not to create scenarios that create self-harm. And sometimes it just happens mindlessly. Like, look at what happened with Kitty, you know? It's sad, but one must and can only learn through experience and hold space and forgiveness and growth. You know, I am open to her and him healing, and I am open to forgiving her. As a matter of fact, it would bring me more joy to do so than have such anger and resentment. However, sometimes things like that aren't really on our end. You know what I mean? So we have to come to terms and have dialogue with ourselves, ourself, our feelings, and we can use our feelings as kind of like a compass to kind of really know what's right and what's best for us. Like, if you've been going to work for like a month and you are thinking about exterminating yourself, like, you might want to reconsider building a better reality for yourself that you find more harmony and peace. And maybe you have a subconscious belief system that you don't deserve anything better, or that you can't. And it's true. If you don't create a space for you to receive what you think that you desire, like, you'll never get what you desire. But you have to put in the energy and the investment, know what comes with it, the shadow, things like that. I am superiorly apologetic. I know there's many of you who have been like on the edge of your seat waiting for this shadow work video. I do apologize. Like, my house is pretty messy right now. I mean, it's actually not really that messy, but it's still like scattered. Okay, I'm missing a lot of books. I'm very, 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 very upset how many books I'm missing. Particularly this one book on sound healing. I may have to add it to my Amazon wish list again, just out of pure frustration and sadness that the book is gone. And I'm learning a lesson to almost never loan out my books anymore, or create a book that says like a log of all the books and movies or whatever I've loaned out, or never loan anything unless you expect to not get it back. So about that shadow work video, there's a clipboard around here in the house, so if you could please put out some positive energy so I can find this clipboard. It has all the great notes on like many different shadows of mine, and also the opposite side of reflection. It's kind of been like my meditation notes for kind of creating this video. And yes, I do plan to still like get a little dark and express myself in that way too. I love you guys. I'm sorry I talked your ear off. I love you for listening, and I can feel like all the hugs. Thank you. I need all of that love right now. It's just been a really, really, really difficult process for me, and like, frankly, Kitty's not the only one. I'm losing a dive buddy friend, and there's all this drama going on of like angry, jealous partners and then not letting their partner be themselves. I actually have 3 friends right now who kind of aren't allowed to hang out with me anymore because their partner is jealous of the bond that we have. And it's frustrating for me because I'm a monogamous person who's extremely loyal to the love of my life, and still, like, there's still problems, you know what I mean? Like, that sucks. Like, I'm just trying to express and be, and I'm being called to move and to go do bigger, greater things. And honestly, none of my friends really have been extremely supportive. I've had 2 friends so far, 2. I'll even say their names, LaDonna and Michael Caine, man, and his daddy. These are the only people so far who have been, yes, Trina, go move, like, do what you want to do. This is all you've been talking about. Like, so and it's amazing because, you know, like, a lot of my friends started making me feel bad, or like notice that they're like dependent on me for feeling better. And I like have a hard time with those boundaries sometimes between friends and clients. Like, there are some people who are basically clients, but they try to be my friend and weasel themselves in, and they always feel good when they're around me because I'm an empath and I take on all of their stuff, you know what I mean? Especially if I have love for you, you know what I mean? It kind of just happens naturally because I want everyone to heal and be happy, and I am really strong at holding density and space. And I've been working so much with so many different people, and I've been working so much on Twitter, and I've been doing my very best, and I'm still getting energetically attacked superiorly, and I'm so misunderstood. It's so frustrating. So all I can do is just hold space and grace and patience. Patience pays. Wait. Creator who has made you will take care of you. If you haven't heard Patience Pays, please listen to it. It's something that I listen to on repeat all the time. It's one of my favorite things. And I'm actually preparing to go do yoga, and I have a teacher I'm working with tonight, so I'm most excited. My fins are crossed that like everything goes as planned. I love you so much. I love you. 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 Mwah. Mwah. Peace.